Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Nick Cavalli.
My name is Marques,
and we welcome you to the Revolution. Tonight, we are going over the 2020 Royal Rumble, and we will start off with the sad and tragic news that started off everybody's day that day. We're going to take just a few brief seconds to honor the legacy of one Kobe Bryant.
Yes, the passing of Black Mamba and his daughter Gigi, along with 7 other victims of a helicopter crash. So, to the families, we're with you, and to the victims, you will be missed.
So, to move on from a tragedy to a wrestling tragedy, if you will, the Roman Reigns Baron Corbin match.
Yeah, so
yeah, that was a thing.
Live from Houston is the Royal Rumble this year, and the crowd, you were hit or miss throughout the entire show, I'd say.
Yeah, there were points where I was like, wow, this crowd's really hot, and then there were points where I was like, wow, I can't hear anything.
Now, I don't know if it was just the fact that they were playing, or the Astros played, but the set was kind of designed around that fact. You didn't really have a prominent stage. It was more just kind of like, you had kind of like the WrestleMania type deal, and then you just had like almost like Madison Square Garden where you just have a ramp, and then that's pretty much it.
And that's the way it was last year when they were at Chase Field in Arizona.
Yeah.
And I think that's going to be kind of continue to be a theme with the Royal Rumble, is that they're going to be doing it from a baseball stadium or a football stadium, and they'll be using either the dugout or the tunnel. So it looks like that's going to be kind of a growing theme for Royal Rumble. So keep an eye on that. The stage has definitely been downsized.
As long as it's not just the SmackDown stage every show, I'm fine with that. So yes, we get Roman Reigns versus King Corbin.
This match was just about as exciting as how you just said it.
As the whole feud, it was just not good. So King Corbin comes down. He's being, again, carried in the King's throne. And as soon as he gets set down, Roman Reigns sprints out of the ring, attacks his throne bearers, I guess you'd call them. And then Corbin gets on the attack on Roman. So I don't really want to touch too much on this match. I'll just talk about a couple.
Yeah, because it was an absolute effing snooze fest.
Yeah, I almost fell asleep out the gate watching this pay-per-view. We had a Corbin choke slam, putting Roman through the announce table. That led to a close near fall. We had Roman hitting a Samoan drop through the table at the international row, which is where all the international announce tables are. Not like the Spanish or the German, but like all of them. Like
yes, like where we see Funaki or the one guy from the Russian announce team and the Chinese announce team or Japanese announce team. That's the same guy.
Yeah,
Jean Pomerantsev.
So then we have we get another Samoan drop through a table. This time Roman follows it up with a cover. Only gets a 2 count. And then here come Dolph Ziggler and Robert Roode.
Bob.
Yeah, they begin an attack on Roman Reigns, but then out comes the fam as the Usos come to save the day.
Ooze.
And pretty much you get what you get. Spear, 1, 2, 3. Roman Reigns wins. Let's move on. I don't want to bore you any longer.
I mean, look, the one cool thing was, hey, you did the spear on the dugout. That's cool, I guess. There's just too much to cover in this pay-per-view to waste any more of your time on this. Oh, yeah.
So we get a quick backstage segment as Sonya says that she would throw herself over for Mandy Rose if the opportunity comes. So a little bit of foreshadowing there for the Women's Rumble. And then we get an in-show Kobe Bryant tribute. Thought that was very classy on the part of WWE. Then we get our next announce team. By the way, if you care, the announce team for the first match was Michael Cole and Corey Graves. And I guess Corey just is on every show now because now we get Tom Phillips. Hey, he's back with Corey Graves and Lawler.
Well, I mean, look.
Mysteriously, no Vic Joseph.
Tom Phillips is, especially with Corey Graves, by far a better announcer.
Oh, yeah, but just kind of mysterious. You know, you had the SmackDown announce team, but then you get Corey Graves again with the addition of Tom. And you get Lawler, but then no Vic Joseph. It just kind of...
I have no idea.
A little bit strange. I don't know what's going on there. But...
Okay, now, give me just a moment here. Who decided to put Lawler on the Women's Royal Rumble match? Who thought that was a good idea? Please explain to me where, in your wisdom of wisdom, you were like, yeah, the guy who says puppies, referring to a female anatomy, should definitely be calling a Women's Royal Rumble match where there's going to be 30 girls.
Yeah,
well, 29.
Yeah. The same guy that thought that one entrant is hilarious. Thank you, Vince McMahon.
Although, I must admit, the way that played out was kind of an homage.
I mean, at least that's all that happened.
It was the right way to go. It was almost an homage to the Women's Revolution and how far we've come.
Yes.
Or have we? Anyways, continue.
So, the Women's Royal Rumble kicks off with Alexa Bliss coming in at numero uno.
Bay.
And who should follow it up but the MVP of the Women's Rumble, and that's going to be Bianca Belair. My, what a showing from this young lady. She just... I mean, if you're not a believer, then this did it for you.
I'm not a believer, and it didn't do it for me.
Well, you're just a hater then, I guess.
Yep, guess I am.
She displayed so much athleticism, and how long she was in the match, it was phenomenal.
Okay.
So, we're...
I'm not going to get into it.
So,
I'm just not.
So, we'll break this down. So, we get Mighty Molly Holly at 3. No, I didn't stutter. Yes, Mighty Molly Holly, the counterpart to the Hurricane, if you remember that. So, she looked great.
Yeah, she's in great shape. She was the last time she was in a Women's Rumble match.
We even got a Mighty Molly chant, so that was kind of cool. We get Nikki Cross coming in at number 4, followed up by Lana at 5. Immediately cuts her music, says that she's the greatest women's wrestler in the world, and that she's going to win this for Lashley. Yikes.
Just, this whole thing is a yike fest. Can we take a moment? I need to cut for a second.
So, we'll just continue, I guess. We get number 6, the first kind of big entrant, at least for me, after Bianca Belair, and that's Mercedes Martinez.
Yay.
So, what's your deal?
I don't like Mercedes Martinez. I just don't.
She's amazing.
What has she done in the ring that has shown you that she's amazing?
You popped for her when she was in AEW?
Yeah, because in this, like, the view of the AEW women's division, that's big.
Oh my gosh.
When it comes to WWE, there's so many better talent.
Mercedes is definitely top tier, and she, again, was showing a little bit of that tonight. We get number 7, Liv Morgan, who immediately goes after and eliminates Lana.
Oh my god. I love Liv Morgan, and just the fire that she came out with.
This whole thing's just cringe for me. I don't know.
No, the whole her Lana thing is cringe. It's very cringe.
Yeah, I don't know. I just want her to, let's just move on from this storyline. I can get Rusev and Bobby, all of them, just move on.
Bob.
I'm tired of it. But she spends a little bit too long gloating as Lana knocks her off the top rope and eliminates her. And then her and Liv fight on the outside of the ring. Number 8, Mandy. Yes, Mandy Rose.
Wait. God's gift to Earth.
Okay, Lawler.
Mandy Rose. That was Corey Graves, by the way, who said that.
Sounds like a Lawler move. Yeah, she comes in. And then number 9, we get Candice LeRae So a lot of NXT contributes.
Hey,
to this.
someone from NXT I'm actually excited to see on the show.
All right. Then
Someone with talent.
Okay.
I pick things up and I put them down.
So we get Belair's one of her first eliminations as she eliminates Molly to the crowd's dismay. Then we get Alexa knocking out Mandy, but guess who was there waiting for her?
Otis!
Our boy Otis, just laying on the outside of the ring, and Mandy just falls on top of him.
So he's my early MVP pick.
Yikes.
I mean, early in the night. That was my pick at the moment.
Yikers still. So Otis obviously helps Mandy get back in the ring. And then number 10 is Sonya Deville. So now we've got Fire and Desire at full power in the ring.
Hair up and square up, baby.
And they, of course, immediately eliminate Mercedes Martinez. And at number 11, we get Kairi Sane. So I liked what she did. She coming down
with the umbrella. Oh my god!
She actually looked pretty good at in this match a little bit. So
I hate that gimmick so much.
Even coming down to the yo ho pirate thing.
Yo ho, yo ho, yo ho, yo.
So number 12, we get Mia Yim. To a pretty nice pop. I know she had kind of been fizzling out a little bit, but the crowd was into it, so I liked that. We get Bianca Belair knocking out Nikki using Alexa Bliss. She kind of had her up on her shoulders and then just uses Alexa's feet to just knock her out.
For how much I may dislike Bianca Belair, that spot was cool.
We then get Sonya almost knocking out Mandy Rose with a little bit of miscommunication, but then Otis saves her, catches her, but then Belair knocks out Sonya, and Sonya falls into Otis and Mandy, eliminating both of them.
You know, Sonya, you're just weighing down their love. You are.
I just can't wait for the Sonya heel turn, because you know it's coming.
Oh, yeah. She's going to be a badass heel.
Number 13, Dana Brooke. Again, surprisingly decent reaction.
Yeah, man,
from
the animal.
crowd.
It's the animal, Dana Brooke.
Yeah. Unfortunately, we didn't get any callbacks to Batista in her showing in this match.
She did go for a Batista bomb out of the ring on a participant. I don't recall because I watched it last night. However, they countered and she did not hit the Batista bomb. I was so sad.
We then get Belair eliminating Candice, followed by Alexa eliminating Kairi Sane. And at number 14, Tamina.
Yeah, that was... No.
So, I popped for the Belair Tamina face-off.
Yeah, I mean, look, this is just me. I was really hoping to see Nia come back. I mean, I don't know. It's just me.
I mean, I would love to see Nia come back. When I saw Tamina, I was almost expecting it at that point, right?
Right.
But we didn't get it. So, I mean, you take what you can get. Yeah, but that Tamina and Belair face-off, the crowd popped for it. I popped for it. That was great. Unfortunately, it didn't last long as Tamina goes for a lariat and ends up eliminating herself, essentially, using her own... Belair uses her own momentum against her. We then see Alexa Bliss eliminating Mia Yim, excuse me. So it kind of seems like Alexa and Belair are kind of going back and forth in eliminations. As coming in at 1 and 2, still looking very strong. I liked the booking up to this point.
I did too, and I mean, look, the difference in stature and style between the two of them could not be more prevalent.
And it's nice because you've got like kind of the crafty veteran work from Alexa Bliss. You know, even though she's smaller, she's still a multiple-time women's champion.
And she's only been on the main roster for, what, 4 years?
Yeah, but a multiple-time women's champion, kind of using her brains to survive. Meanwhile, you've got just the raw strength and power of Bianca Belair, and she's a big lady. And I don't mean big in terms of like, you know, like what, but I mean like just broad shoulders, like tough, just very powerful.
You know who she reminds me of? Broad shoulders, tough, long hair, dreamy. Roman Reigns.
Well, I was gonna say I just think she's like the Black Charlotte.
She reminds me of Roman because she can't wrestle.
Wow, that's couldn't be farther
You know what?
from the truth.
I'm so sorry. Roman has come a very long way. Roman can wrestle now.
I would say I think Bianca is better than Roman in the ring, and it definitely is.
Okay.
So, speaking of the Queen, in comes Charlotte. Actually, I skipped ahead a little bit. We actually have number 15, Dakota Kai, comes in. And then at number 16, we get Chelsea Green.
Ugh. This fell so flat for everyone, as it should have.
Yeah.
I would be more excited to see Eva Marie.
But it's fine, because she eliminates Dakota, but then is immediately eliminated by Alexa Bliss. So, sad for Dakota, but at least she's immediately out.
I'm not.
So,
I hate you, Dakota Kai.
we then see Belair eliminate Dana Brooke, and then the biggest one, eliminate Alexa Bliss. So, number 1 is finally out.
Alexa put on a heck of a clinic on how to stay in a Rumble match without doing a ton.
Or without falling asleep on the outside of the ring.
Yeah, I mean,
Talking to you, Jericho and Roman.
Hey now, don't go after Jericho.
I will very
Don't
much
go after Jericho.
I will very much go after Jericho.
I mean, it's not like the Roman spot where he was number 1, got eliminated, or got, like, taken out for medical reasons by, like, number 4, and came back out when there were 3 guys in the ring.
Yeah, I treat them both as terrible. Roman did that, and then Jericho essentially slept on the outside of the ring, but he got the Iron Man for that match that year. Load of bull. So, we then get, finally, what I mistakenly said earlier, with number 17, Charlotte Flair.
Woo!
Instantly the favorite of the match. Instantly the favorite. And I don't like it, but she was instantly the favorite of the match as soon as she got in.
I agree, but I don't. When she got into the match, there are 13 spots left, and I figured one person from the NXT roster had to be someone who would be winning the Rumble.
NXT people don't win the Rumble.
Well, I mean, NXT's only competed in the Rumble for 3 years, so...
Yeah, and in all 3 of those years, they don't win.
Small sample size.
And it'll continue to be that way, I can promise you. Because as long as you have people like a Charlotte or a Roman, it just isn't going to happen.
Okay.
I don't see it. Not as long as Vince is alive. So... Or at least, as long as Vince is in control of booking decisions.
But this is the thing. If Vince is looking to bring somebody to the main roster, what better way than have them win the Rumble?
Yeah, but you're thinking like a smart booker. I'm thinking like Vince McMahon. That is the difference. You're thinking about what you want. I'm thinking about what's actually going to happen. That's the difference.
No, if it was what I wanted, Tegan Nox would have won the Rumble.
I mean, I wanted that too. But again,
everyone wanted
we
that.
We don't always get what we want because, again, Vince McMahon is still running the show. So at number 18, welcome back Naomi, and I felt the glow. And so did everyone in the crowd. Massive pop for Naomi. That was great. Number 19, Beth Phoenix. Yes, she's taking a hiatus from her commentary days in NXT to come and fight in the Rumble. So I liked that. That was cool.
I mean, Beth put on a really good show.
I mean, she's a much better wrestler than she is commentator, I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
So she looked fantastic, by the way. She still got it in the ring. Mm-hmm. And, I mean, there was never any doubt. I mean, she's amazing. She retired young, So, never any doubt. Good showing for Beth Phoenix. Number 20, Toni Storm.
Tony time!
And she continues the weekend of getting no reaction because nobody cared.
Hey now, she got a better reaction than she did at Worlds Collide.
That is fair. But then we get what was kind of anticipated because they were building for it. We get Charlotte eliminating Bianca Belair after staying in the match for 33 minutes and 20 seconds. She's eliminated by the Queen.
And somehow managing to injure Beth Phoenix.
Yes.
You missed that part.
No, I didn't miss that.
Because you're so far up her rear end that you missed the part where she injured Beth Phoenix.
I actually didn't. I have it in my notes. You just didn't let me finish. You immediately were like, "You're a Bianca Belair stan."
Because you are.
I just think she's a good wrestler. I'm not a hater.
Well, you're just wrong. It's fine.
Well, we'll see what the fans think about that one.
Will we, though? I mean, our fans don't comment.
Calling you guys out. So, yes, Bianca Belair gets eliminated. And then at number 21, Kelly.
Oh, man, I love you, Kelly. I really do. But you're so bad in the ring. You're so bad in the ring.
Yeah, she's a callback to a forgotten time.
The Divas era?
The Divas era. And I always love it when they bring back the Divas, specifically the ones from, 03 to 09, because you can just tell the newer wrestlers like Charlotte, just can't stand them.
My favorite is Kelly or Stacy Keibler or Tori Wilson, and it's none of you really know how to wrestle. Out of the three of you, maybe Stacy Keibler's the best wrestler, I guess.
Yeah. So then at number 22 we get Sarah Logan. Cool.
Yay.
She's immediately eliminated by Charlotte.
Yay!
And then one of my favorite spots of the match, Kelly gets sent to the outside. She's hanging on the apron. Charlotte walks up, and then she smacks Charlotte, who immediately looks at her and goes, I can't repeat it, but you... And wow, just sends her flying. Vicious shot from Charlotte.
Oh my god, Kelly, are you okay? Again, King on commentary in a women's rumble. Good call, WWE.
Number 23, Natalya. So the Queen of Hearts. Now we've got Natalya and Beth Phoenix in the ring at the same time, and obviously, of course, they're going to team up. It's at this point that you actually do really start to notice that Beth is bleeding profusely from the back of her head, and even the commentators pointed out it's bad at this point. I mean, you knew that something happened, but you didn't realize that it was that bad. So, shout out to Beth Phoenix. She's a champion for continuing that match because it was bad. You could see the blood all over Charlotte, and it was bad. Number 24, we get, and I didn't know the superstar before this match, but Zia Lee. Apparently, she was the first Chinese competitor to be signed by NXT, or the first women's Chinese competitor to be signed by NXT.
Zia Lee competed in one of the previous women's rumbles, and I believe she also competed in a women's battle royal, both of which we looked at her and went, who are you? And I think one of them we just called her fangirl the whole time because she got the little fan thing.
Yeah.
Yikers.
So, Zia Lee, a pretty alright showing from her for how little she was in the match. Number 25, Zelina Vega.
We're grasping at straws here, guys.
Yeah.
We're really, really grasping at
No, correct me if I'm wrong. I didn't read any reports or anything. I know Sasha Banks had that injury, that worked injury the other week. I don't know. Was that a real injury?
No, it was. As far as I know, it was a work.
Because if that's the case, what's the reason for keeping Sasha off this pay-per-view?
She needed the day off
of the Royal Rumble.
I got nothing for you, Chief.
Yeah, and again, I didn't do any research. I didn't look to see if it was a real injury or not. I don't know if anything's came out or not, and I'll look after this recording. But yeah, Just spoiler there. Sasha Banks, a complete no-show for the entire pay-per-view. So, and the competitors coming in just keep getting worse as we get at number 26, Shotzi Blackheart.
Oh, yay!
Yay, it's the return of green hair girl. So she got a pop from the crowd. Cool. It's at this point that Naomi gets sent flying out of the ring, but she lands on the side of the barricade and then just starts to scale it and just kind of slide her way around, making her way to the announce table, and just kind of chills on the outside of the ring for a little bit, trying to figure out how she's going to get back into the ring. It's kind of like the side plot of the match for the remainder. We then see number 27, Carmella.
So I looked up the injury for you, by the way, because, you took more extensive notes than I did. So Sasha is reportedly injured.
Okay.
But it has not been released by WWE. It's just reports on hearsay.
So I would assume then if she didn't appear in the Rumble, so I would assume, she's probably injured. So, man, that sucks, man. Would have much rather seen Sasha than Shotzi Blackheart.
Or not Liv Morgan, Sarah Logan.
Yeah, but at number 27, again, we get the Princess of Staten Island, Carmella. And it's at this point that we see Charlotte go through the ropes. And at number 28, here comes Tegan Knox.
Yes. I knew that she was going to be in the Rumble. I had this feeling that, this is Triple H's girl. She's going to be in the Rumble. I thought she'd last longer. I thought she might do more.
Well, she lets, for coming in at number 28 and the match at that point already being pretty much over, she lasted a decent amount of time.
Yeah, I don't know. I expected to see more, but she looked really good in the Rumble. She looked really comfortable in there, working on some corner spots, and I mean that's what you got to do. I mean, when the focus is not on you, and when it is. You need to learn how to do that, and she did a really good job. But I'm so excited for Wednesday.
And then we get what we referenced earlier, the biggest WTF of, frankly, the entire show. 29.
Santina Marella.
What are y'all doing?
And immediately my favorite to win the match.
What are y'all doing? And the look I have on my face right now is the exact same look that every woman in that match gave to Santino, because that's his name.
I was pissed for them.
Yeah, I was. How disrespectful. And I know Vince McMahon's probably cackling in the freaking back, in gorilla position, just like, that's what he does. He thinks stuff like this is funny.
That's good shit.
But it's like, especially like how tone deaf too. I mean, we're in 2020, it's with, things like transgender rights and everything and equality in the LGBTQ community. You can't do something like that. It's tone deaf. It's not funny. It's a slap in the face to every hard-working women's competitor in your company. And at number 29, seriously?
Now, I will say this. The way Santina is eliminated is kind of a shout to how far we've come.
Yeah, because she probably would have won
years
ago.
But, well, not just that. He gets into a stare down with Beth Phoenix, pulls out...
Which, by the way, if you don't get the story there, back in the good old days of Monday Night Raw, Beth Phoenix and Santino Marella were actually dating, and then there was a point where Santina became the, I believe the women's
Miss WrestleMania.
Miss WrestleMania, excuse me. So that actually is what led to fracturing their on-screen relationship. But so that was kind of like the nod there to that storyline.
Mm-hmm. But getting the stare down from her, and then the stare down from Nat, and then some stare downs from across the ring.
You had Naomi on the outside looking like, why?
Cobra'd himself and went out of the ring.
Thank God.
I think this was an attempt to be a testament to how far we have come. Did it hit? Not really.
At least it was short and sweet. I give it credit for that.
Right, and to think that Santina, rather than, attacking and all this, was so terrified of the women that are in the ring today.
To be fair, it was the same two that would have been in the ring when he was around.
I mean, well, yeah, that's true. But no, I mean, to be, in this case, Charlotte's in the ring and Naomi's on the outside, and to just go, yeah, I'm not going to do this. But that's the other thing. I think the stare down with Beth Phoenix is great and all, but I would have had some of the newer talent there to just be like, yeah, this isn't happening. Not now, not today.
I mean, if it was up to me, I just wouldn't have had it happen at all. But Vince has to get his offensive humor in, right? I mean, I'm just glad we didn't have freaking little people in pancakes coming out like we did at the WrestleMania a couple years ago. Because my God, Vince loves little people in funny costumes.
That was the best. That was the best spot from the entire freaking WrestleMania that year, though.
It's so bad. But luckily, we go from the lowest point of the show to the highest immediately at number 30. In comes Shayna Baszler. And wow, did the mood change from like awful cringe humor to things just got serious.
This was my pick. Like, not just because she entered 30. Like, before the Rumble, I was, Shayna's going to win. And the reason I thought Shayna Baszler was going to win is because she lost the NXT title. She's going to win, and she's going to challenge either Becky or Bayley or whoever has the titles by the end of the day. And Shayna Baszler is going to become Shayna 3-time, but on the main roster.
Now, I've kind of become a whiz at just realizing how Vince McMahon thinks. Charlotte was my pick before the show, and it just... I knew Shayna would be in the match, but I figured it was just going to be, for a pop, because I believe Triple H in kind of speaking through Shayna and the fact that she's staying on NXT and that she's going to challenge and then potentially even maybe win for a third time the NXT championship. I just kind of seeing how Triple H is treating the NXT brand now and not being as willing to lose his people. I didn't see Shayna getting the call up, excuse me. And I just freaking knew, something told me that Charlotte was going to win this match. Let's get into it. Shayna Baszler cleans house.
Now, this was believable.
Yeah, bye-bye Zia. Unfortunately, bye-bye Tegan.
Oh, man. Yeah, I mean, that hurt the heart, but I mean, it's Shayna.
Yeah. Bye-bye Zelina. Bye-bye Shotzi. You actually see it when they did the callback to NXT a couple weeks ago. Shotzi looked like she was going to get the elimination on Shayna Baszler. And then just nope. And bye-bye Shotzi. And then we finally get what we've been building towards, that little side plot on the outside of the ring. Naomi finally figures out a way to get back into the ring. She takes the top part of one of the announce desks, kind of builds a bridge to the stairs on the outside, and just walks across it right back into the ring, only to get eliminated 2 seconds later. We see Shayna eliminate Carmella, eliminate Tony. She also was the one that eliminated Naomi. So she cleared through, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 people in the span of 5 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, I thought that was impressive, and then the men's rumble happened.
We will get to that. So we finally see the turn. It's Beth Phoenix and Natalya They're sisters, they're partners. They're gonna get
the callback to the first one,
and it's the callback to the first Women's Rumble. Beth Phoenix eliminates Natalya. Turnabout is fair play, and this is WWE testing your knowledge. Do you remember? God, I'm thankful for carryover from previous storylines. Thank you for that, WWE. And then we see Baszler eliminate Beth Phoenix. Finally, Charlotte versus Shayna Baszler.
And at this point, one of the two of us had to be right? I mean, look, we picked the final two.
Yeah.
We did good.
But guess what? It was me. Charlotte gets the victory. I'm not happy about it. It's bittersweet, but with a lot of things lately, it just seems like that's the way things go. They didn't make Baszler look weak, at least, in defeat. But Charlotte does pick up the victory. She was in there for 27 minutes and 19 seconds. So, congratulations, Charlotte. I just don't win again, please. Please don't win at Mania. I can't. You're already a 10-time champion. I can't deal. I can't. And I fear that whoever she challenges, she's going to win. But just please don't. Just surprise me, shock me.
She should challenge Rhea Ripley. It's an option.
Technically, you're right. Technically, so she wouldn't. And I don't want to see it because she'd win.
Oh, I'd love to see Rhea just get her hands on Charlotte and tear that poor woman apart.
As long as Triple H books the match, then I'll be okay. But if it's Vince, and it would be, so we get a backstage segment now. King Corbin saying that Roman is afraid he had to hide behind his family, the Usos, and that he's going to eliminate him in the Rumble later tonight. Okay. Then we get this match. Wow, what a disappointment. You had me buying in, WWE. Way to drop the ball.
I mean, I wasn't... There's not a single point during the night in which I felt extremely impressed with the show. But there wasn't a single point in the night where I felt extremely not impressed other than this match.
Yeah, way to
absolutely drop the ball.
Yeah, you...
And that's why you can tell. You can tell in my demeanor. I just seem very meh about this whole pay-per-view because that's kind of where I'm at. It was good for a Rumble, but...
You had me on Friday night going, all right, show me what you got. You got me. You got me hooked. Not hooked like all the way, but like you got me at a... Impress me. Show me what you can do. And you showed me.
Nothing. You can do nothing.
Yeah. So, Bayley versus Lacey Evans for the SmackDown Women's Championship. There's not much to talk about here. I'm not going to talk about much, except that the end, Bayley grabs the tights to retain the title.
Yay. Nothing extremely compelling happened on this show.
I can't go all the way in there with you on that one. Because there were points of this night where I was like, you had me glued to the edge of my couch.
I mean...
And one of those things comes up next.
Yeah, you know what? Yeah, I'll give you that. That was definitely good.
And it shouldn't have. Because of all the matches I thought were going to go horribly wrong...
It would be a strap match.
It'd be a strap match. But I also did say on Friday night that if
anyone could pull it off,
it'd be Bray Wyatt and Daniel Bryan.
And boy, did they ever.
Damn, did y'all pull it off. So it's D-Bry versus The Fiend. First of all, I'll say it every single time he comes out. I don't care because it's just the truth. Daniel Bryan is one of, if not the most over person in the company. It's just a fact. And then if there's one person moreover, it'd be the guy he's fighting, and that's The Fiend. My goodness, that entrance.
Yeah. That entrance at WrestleMania is going to be out of this world.
That was always the one thing about Bray Wyatt, like with the whole like spooky stuff, where he was like, "Oh, I'm the new face of fear, and I'm replacing Undertaker." And it was just like, I thought the gimmick was cool, but I was never like, "Oh, you're scary" or anything like that. Or it was just kind of like, "Yeah, cool, dude, I like you, but whatever. You're never gonna be the new Taker." And then this gimmick, and now it's like,
and then something snapped in his brain.
Yeah, and it's like, thank you, finally, and I can't wait to see more. So, as you would expect from a strap match, there was a lot of whipping.
Yeah.
A lot of whipping.
Maybe a tad uncomfortable amount of whipping with D-Bry. D-Bry's back was bleeding for a bit there.
Yeah, he was all sorts of just messed up.
Yeah.
You get the Fiend whipping Daniel Bryan, and at one point, a fan shouts "Yowie Wowie," and then the Fiend just turns around and goes, "Yeah." That was fantastic. I was like legitimately creeped out because like in that Fiend mask, just going, "Yeah." I was like, ooh.
My favorite whip part of the night was when Daniel Bryan gets up, starts whipping the Fiend, and he's no-selling it. And I'm like, you can see it in his eyes. Like, this dude hurts so bad, but he's just standing there like, I'm tough. I'm big tough guy, I promise.
I loved the Tree of Woe spot where the Fiend hangs Bryan upside down from the turnbuckle and just goes to town on him. Just wow.
Yowie wowie, one might say.
We saw a vicious Uranagi near the start of that match. And there was one point where the Fiend like kind of sits up on the announce table like that, and Michael Cole just goes, "Get the hell away from here." That was great.
Yeah, that was terrifying. And then I think the funnier thing is seeing the German announce team behind them as Bray Wyatt's walking away, and one of the announcers just being like...
And then we see Daniel Bryan with multiple low blows on the Fiend, follows it up with a DDT on one of the announce desks, and then goes to town himself with the strap, just starts whipping the crap out of him. Then we see a fury of yes kicks plus the strap shots.
Yes!
Strap.
Whip! Yes! Whip!
That was great, but then what made it even better is the Fiend begging for more.
Give me more.
And then he gave him more. He goes for a running knee, but then gets caught mid-air for a Sister Abigail. 1, 2, kicked out.
And then the Fiend, with the hurt hand, just punching himself in the face.
We then see a mandible claw switched into a label lock by Daniel Bryan with the strap wrapped around the face of the Fiend. That was great.
Yeah, that was pretty brutal.
I am confused as to why they're still calling it the label lock and not the yes lock. Now
yeah, I don't get that either because the yes is back.
The yes is back, so I'm a little confused about that. I was waiting for when they were calling it that. I was waiting for one of the announcers to...
I was waiting for Graves to be like, the yes lock.
It's actually the yes lock, Cole, or like something like he normally does corrections like that, but nah, they both actually called it the label lock, so I guess it's just the label lock again.
Whatever.
We then see a Sister Abigail reversed into a running knee, big running knee. Fiend kicks out. We see the spot you were talking about, which was Daniel Bryan whipping.
Yeah, the Fiend kicks out and then he stands up.
Yeah.
As like Daniel Bryan's on his knees trying to figure out what he can do. And literally just after a near fall on a borderline finisher, the Fiend just stands up.
So then Daniel Bryan just goes, F it. Just starts whipping the Fiend, who's just no selling everything. This leads into a mandible claw, slam. 1, 2, 3. The Fiend retains.
My only complaint is that maybe the Fiend looked a little weaker than he needed to in this match.
In what way?
I mean, I don't know. He seemed so much more dominant in his last 2 matches. 3. And it just, I don't know.
If there was there's going to be a match. I mean, Daniel Bryan in a strap match. I mean, the newly returned, like, willing to do anything, like, that hero, like, they needed you to believe that he could do it, that he could be the one. And so this match, I felt, was exactly what it needed to be. I mean, the Fiend still looked like a monster, dominant throughout majority of the match, but Bryan had to get his licks in. So I thought it was booked fine, personally. After the match, Fiend blips out, lights go on, lights go out, and then we see referees and medical staff attending to Bryan, who's trying to walk under his own power out of the ring, and he just can't, so they have to help him out. Crowd still chanting yes. He's still super over, so yeah. Great match. Good work to both Daniel Bryan and Bray Wyatt. Great job, guys. Way to make a strap match actually good. Seriously. Never thought I'd see that. Then we get another low point of the night for me. And it kind of looks like I'm picking on the women. I'm not, because I like the Women's Rumble. But these 2 championship matches were just not good. They just weren't.
No, they weren't.
So we get Becky Lynch versus Asuka. Again, another one where I was like, you had me. Like, I was invested in this, especially in Asuka. I was like, and I'll give credit where credit was due. They made her look strong. She looked like a freaking, like, invincible woman majority of this match.
She looked like the old Asuka for a little while.
Yeah, at one point I was like, they're going to freaking do it, right? Like, that. But it was just, I don't know. Something just fell off. Like, Asuka looked great, but the match just didn't flow, really.
It seemed like they did not have great in-ring chemistry.
No, they didn't. And, I mean, I've kind of gathered that from the last couple times they fought. I was hoping maybe with experience it would, fix it. But nah, it just wasn't a good match. We get a couple. I'll just touch on a few spots. Asuka kicking Lynch. Lynch hulking through it, just fighting through it. Screams, "Come on, that's all you got!" And then gets her head kicked off for it. That was a close near fall for Asuka. I thought that was it. Like, I thought that was gonna be like the spot where, like, fighting champion going, "Give me all you got," gets knocked out. That would have been a good way to end the match right there.
Absolutely.
But no, we don't get that. Match continues on for a little bit longer. Again, just not great. And then we see finally the devil get its due as Asuka goes to spray the mist, and Becky Lynch kicks her. She spits the mist up into the air, and it all falls on her face. She's blinded herself, gets caught with the disarmor for the victory.
The thing about the 2 women's championship matches tonight is it didn't really do anything. It didn't move the feud forward.
Yeah.
It didn't end it. It didn't de-escalate. It just...
And if I'm being honest, and this is also what bugged me, not a single championship got moved tonight.
It felt like everything was filler.
Yeah, it really did. I mean, I was thinking, it was up to this point when we got to this match, I was thinking, okay, Asuka's winning, right? Because no other title has been moved. We know Brock's not competing for a title. He's in the Rumble. So I'm like, okay, Asuka's going over, right?
And like I said, I mean, aside from the fact that I loved the Fiend match, it's like the Rumble matches, the Fiend match, and everything else was just there to take up our time.
Yeah, disappointed is an understatement for me because while I never have high hopes for a main roster pay-per-view, I had some expectations going into this one at least.
Well, yeah. I mean, to be fair, though, the 3 matches I expected to be good were goodish.
Hey, you exceeded my expectations with the Rumbles at least because I, again, had none for those, so at least you did something with that.
Yeah.
But, yeah, just meh is my general feeling on this pay-per-view. Then we get the Street Profits.
Oh, my God.
And they are ready for the Rumble. We get them beatboxing and dancing to different superstar themes. And then the Rumble. Booker T comes out for commentary as the one of the special guest commentators because, they're in Houston.
Houston's own.
Yep.
And I must say, Booker did good on his one-off appearance.
Yeah, I've always thought Booker in his little one-offs and his specials, I always thought he was great in that role. It's just when you have him on a week-to-week basis where I go, not so much. It's the same thing with, like, Jerry Lawler. Like, you have Lawler on a one-off, and I'm like, yeah, he's fine. But then you put him on Raw every week, and I go, no, don't do that.
Yeah.
But let's begin the men's Royal Rumble, or should I say the
Part 1.
The Brock Showcase.
The Part 1 of the men's Royal Rumble, a.k.a. the Brock Showcase, a.k.a. the Bork Laser Rumble.
Yeah, because, look, I know y'all got to push Brock, but...
Do you? Do you really, though?
But...
I'd have just canned him by now. He doesn't make enough. He does not bring in enough money for how much he puts out. I can't imagine that he does.
He's one of the top sellers in the company.
Like, I get, it's can't miss TV when Brock's on, except he's never wrestling.
Regardless of how much people hate him, myself included, and he's never there, he's one of those guys that moves the needle, whether we like it or not. And that's the selling point for Brock Lesnar, is that the t-shirts that fly off whenever Brock's on TV, ratings go through the roof. That's just how it is. And I don't know, he's just one of those guys where as soon as he shows up, you're like, well, Brock Lesnar's here.
Yeah, that's just the fact that he does not fight on television kind of pisses me off.
Oh, it absolutely pisses me off. Not kind of. There's no leeway in there. It infuriates me.
Like, Brock Lesnar's here tonight. Yeah, so he can sit there while Paul Heyman cuts a promo.
And then, hit a German in an F5 and then...
leave the ring.
Say one thing and then leave. And then get paid how many millions of dollars?
Yeah, exactly.
So, but he earned his pay tonight.
Yeah, and that's... look... Again, as much, and Cole even said this, as much as you might hate the guy and say he doesn't show up week to week, he earned every bit of what he did in the Rumble.
If we're going to see Brock doing stuff like this at every pay-per-view, then...
I'm okay with it.
I'm okay. I'm okay having Brock take, I'm not okay with it, but I'll stomach Brock taking off Raws to then put on, 30-minute to hour performances. If you're gonna make him work that hard at pay-per-views, get your money
that's fine.
worth, then that's fine.
You don't even have to be there for the Paul Heyman promos. Let him cut them himself.
Because at least, what's never been a criticism of Brock for me is his in-ring
work. His in-ring work is
fantastic,
bar none, one of the best in the business.
That's never been a complaint for me. That's actually why I get so upset, is because you want to see it.
Right.
So, but we saw it tonight. Let's get into this because we have a lot to cover. Number 2 is Elias. I love you, Elias. And
my favorite thing is that he knew.
He acknowledges it. So he comes out, says, Houston, we have a problem. We've got a brain-dead gorilla in the ring with a fat zookeeper at his side. Obviously talking about Brock Lesnar and Paul Heyman. And then... crowd starts singing, "Oh, walk with Elias." I love that. And then Elias says, I got a song to sing. Appreciate if you clap along. It's called
Sacrificial Lamb.
Yes. He calls himself the Lamb. And he's walking closer and closer to the ring. Then he calls out Paul Heyman. And at that point, Brock's just had enough. Gets outside, charges Elias, takes him to Suplex City, smashes him with his own guitar.
Eliminates him.
Bye-bye, Elias. So, at least he knew what was coming.
I mean, everybody did. So,
yeah. Number 3, Eric Rowan.
And the Pet.
And the Pet. I mean, for being a big guy, I was at least expecting, a little back and forth. And they didn't make him look weak in the sense that Brock squashed him. It was more of like a Brock outsmarted him.
Yeah.
He caught him slipping. So,
well, I mean, isn't that also kind of part of Rowan's character? Like he's complete and babbling idiot.
He's not very bright, no. So
the Pet never did get eliminated from the Rumble.
Not even gonna acknowledge that. Number 4, the glorious Robert Roode. I've never seen someone look more scared walking to the ring than Robert Roode.
Yeah, I mean, look, you know what's coming. You know you're going to get the stiffest Germans of your life. But, I mean, just appear to be tough about it, please.
Yeah, no, he tried fighting a little F5. Bye-bye, Roode.
I would have the personal strategy for this Brock Lesnar showcase. Slide under the bottom rope, run through, slide under the bottom rope, run away.
I wouldn't even do that. I would just not get in the ring. Like, you don't have to. There's no rule that says you have to get in originally. So I would just not get in. If we've seen it in the past, I'm just chilling until more guys get in.
Fair.
So, and they Booker T is with me on this because he keeps acknowledging it as more and more guys are getting in and charging Brock. He's like, this strategy is not going to work. Like, if I'm one of these guys, I stay on the outside of the ring and wait for the ring to fill up. I'm sitting here like, yeah, Booker, I'm right there with you. So, at least, someone on commentary, like, has a little bit of brains, and it's Booker T. So, Roode's out. And at number 6, John Morrison. Well, it was good to see you for all of 3 seconds.
Yep, John Morrison's out.
He gets in.
With that parkour style.
He gets belly-to-belly suplexed to the outside of the ring.
Yeah, man,
wow.
Parkour style.
Yeah, it was. And then number 7, you want to talk about a pop. Kofi Kingston.
Yes, and it was great to see Kofi actually get a little bit of offense in.
Finally got his shot at Brock Lesnar again. And he took his chance, right? I mean, the crowd was going nuts. He looked like he was, getting in some good licks here and there. But then, obviously, Brock gets control. But he does not eliminate Kofi Kingston. For the first time up until this point, the person actually survives to the next point. To the next competitor gets in the match. Thank God. Because here comes Rey Mysterio.
2 undersized guys. You still don't equal Brock.
And they still somehow survive. I mean, Brock's out here dominating both of them, but they managed to live until the big man for the New Day, Big E, arrives. And he immediately goes to the outside, picks up Kofi, picks up Rey, gives him a pep talk. He's like, come on, guys, we got this. Triple team Brock Lesnar. And they do. We get a Trouble in Paradise. We get a big ending and a 619 all back to back to back. And then Brock does Brock things.
Yep, can't eliminate the big man, and the big man eliminates all 3 of you.
Yeah, so Brock Lesnar, like Rey, I don't even know what he was going for, but he gets caught in midair and gets sent flying to the outside of the ring. He then eliminates Big E with a lariat, and then poor Kofi's just by himself, kind of like just defeated. Brock picks him up, F5 to the outside of the ring. Bye-bye, all 3 of you.
The thing that bothered me with Kofi is we didn't get one of those goofy spots this year.
No, because we got that with Naomi in the Women's Rumble.
And Otis.
And yeah. But specifically with the the parkour type deal, that was Naomi.
Yeah.
So,
I feel it.
I mean, I'm okay not doing it every single year because it was starting. I mean, at some point you run out, right?
You would think,
I mean,
but
it kind of seemed like they did last year's Rumble. It was basically the same spot they did a couple of years before that. So I'm cool to not to see it go away. Number 10, in and out, Mr. Cesaro. They this one was a little disappointing. They referenced the fact that Cesaro, pound for pound, is one of the strongest competitors in WWE, and he just gets completely out-muscled by Brock.
yeah, I think the term "one of" is probably the most.
I mean, if we're talking IRL, John Cena acknowledged that Cesaro is stronger than him, and John Cena is like right there with Brock. So I mean, I don't know. I mean, I understand it's in terms of like booking and scale. There's levels to this. Brock Lesnar, Cesaro, I get it, but I would have loved to have seen Cesaro hit a couple big moves. Brock go like, oh, okay, and then just obviously destroy him after. But we didn't even get that. It was just immediate destruction by Brock. Cesaro, bye bye. Number 11, Shelton Benjamin.
Well, this was just embarrassing, Shelton. It really was, man.
You're supposed to be the gold standard. You're supposed to be smarter than this. What was that?
He's so excited to see his former teammate that he totally forgets that his former teammate is a snake in the grass.
Yeah, you got Paul Heyman outside hugging him, saying, good to see you, man. Go in there, team up with your buddy Brock. They shake hands and embrace. Brock's like, we're going to do this. We got this. Shelton sits in front of Brock Lesnar, back turned. Obviously, Brock turns on Shelton. German suplex, then eliminates him and starts laughing about it.
Poor Shelty B.
You even have the commentators going, Shelton, how dumb can you be?
Yeah.
That was stupid. Really an insult to Shelton's intelligence to think that he would do something like that when his character has all been about, outsmarting people. So, I don't know. It seemed like a betrayal of the character, in my opinion. So, I mean, I understand. I would have just rather Brock just beat up Shelton than we do this whole he outsmarted Shelton thing. So, I don't know. We get Shinsuke. Excuse me. Kind of misspoke there. We get Shinsuke coming into the Rumble.
Look, Brock was so dominant that it didn't matter. It literally did not matter who came into the Rumble. It literally took underhanded tactics to get him out.
It wasn't even like these were no names, I don't know, freaking Zack Ryder or something, but you had former world champions in there. You had people like Shinsuke, and just what a burial of your entire roster.
And each one got a lick. Shinsuke got, the strong style, kick to the temple and went for the knee strike and got eliminated. And Kofi got his licks in, and Big E and Ray. But it just none of this was believable. I did not truly believe there was somebody who could even stand toe-to-toe with Brock till 13.
It really seems like, look, so Brock's that guy. He came in. He was the next big thing, right? And he's a legitimately big, strong dude. I get it. But it really seems like ever since he took Taker's streak that he just kind of got that God booking. And Taker, at least, I get people are like, well, he beat Taker at WrestleMania. He's got to look strong, yada, yada, yada. But at least Taker never looked like this. At least he had back and forth, he would lose a couple times, not at Mania obviously, but he would take L's. He was never invincible. At the end of the day, the man was human. Brock just looks like he's just so much farther than everybody else on the roster. Even the big dog Roman, who was Vince's boy, still has yet to really. I mean, he's got that one victory over Brock, I guess, but that whatever. But for the most part, Brock has owned him in that. So I don't know. I don't like the way they just shove Brock down your throat. It's over. It's too much in my opinion. And this just, kind of puts the exclamation on that. What a burial of your entire roster for the most part. I mean, wow. But we get a little bit of redemption coming up soon. Thank you. But we get MVP, the return of Montel Vontavious Porter, the best fake name in the business.
I was excited to see you, but
I like the Black Panther suit.
Kind of wish it wasn't you immediately going into just
Die.
Yeah.
My favorite was seeing Lesnar dance to MVP's theme. That was kind of funny, but we get this goofy spot of MVP chasing Paul Heyman around the ring. We get kind of the crafty veteranship of MVP when Brock goes to grab him, chops him to the neck, and then chops him again. You're like, okay, that's that old school, right? But then, nope. F5, bye-bye MVP. Number, what was this at this point? 14? 13?
Oh, bask in his glory.
Keith Lee, the Limitless One, is in the Rumble.
He was absolutely limitless in this match. He was on fire. The pop was there on a main roster show for Keith Lee.
Oh, well, they've seen him.
This man is going to be the next big thing in the business.
My favorite is there are two things that Brock does while Keith Lee is walking down the ramp. Brock literally mouths, "Big boy." Oh, and then he looks at Paul Heyman and goes, "Who's this mofo?" Like, that's great. And he's just kind of sizing him up, like, finally some competition, right? And yeah, Keith Lee actually gets the better of Brock in this exchange. He knocks Lesnar down. He's taking shots to him. Thank God, finally.
And Keith Lee looks strong. That's the important part. I don't even care about what happens.
So then next we see Braun Strowman.
And this is where I'm like, okay, he's done. He's out of the Rumble.
Finally.
They're going to eliminate Brock.
We've got Braun, we've got Keith Lee. I'm like, oh, baby, it's time. Like,
bye,
Lesnar.
Nope. Braun and Keith Lee cannot set aside, I don't even want to say their differences because they've just met.
Yeah, they just kind of look at each other.
You big guy, I big guy. Must fight.
Yeah, it was even funny, too, when Brock sees Braun walking down. He's kind of looking at Braun Strowman like, oh, you gotta be kidding me.
Yeah.
But,
we couldn't have drawn anybody else here.
Yeah, but we get Germans at one point from Brock Lesnar to both Braun and Keith Lee. Multiple Germans. But then, yeah, we get the face-to-face between Keith Lee and Braun Strowman. And it's at that time, Brock catches him by surprise, eliminates both of them at the same time.
Dumps both of them over the top. It was...
So, at least it wasn't like a Brock dominating. It was they just got caught off guard. Again, kind of the same thing that happened with Eric Rowan earlier. So, I'll take that over Brock just being better.
Yeah. I just hate to see Keith Lee get outsmarted, too.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I expected for Braun. But...
Well, yeah, it's in the name.
And then next we see at number 15, Ricochet. You knew what was
coming. As soon as I saw this, I was terrified for Ricochet.
Oh, yeah.
I thought he was going to die.
Did a little bit. But luckily he gets saved by number 16, Drew McIntyre, and my goodness, was that pop huge. And we get a little bit of foreshadowing from Mr. Corey Graves.
Well, I told you before, this man will win the Royal Rumble.
Not even just that, he like flat out says it. He's like, I forget what Michael Cole said, but he said, yeah, in a short while, this is going to be the man that wins the Rumble. Like, he just flat out says it.
Yeah.
Like, that was great. McIntyre gets in the ring. He's looking straight at Brock Lesnar, dead eyes locked. He says, "I've been waiting for this, you son of a, you know what?" He's just mouthing off. He's like, let's go, let's go. This is my moment. Brock's like, okay, show me what you got. Then from behind, bam!
Low
Ricochet
blow from Ricochet and a Claymore from McIntyre.
sends
Bye-bye, Brock.
Sends Brock flying to the outside. He sold that Claymore fantastically.
And now we conclude part 1 of the Royal Rumble. And we start part 2 of the Royal Rumble, the Royal Rumble.
Yeah, it's no longer Brock just eliminating everybody.
And, did it arguably get less interesting from that point? I mean, aside from one thing.
I was going to say the pop that Drew got for eliminating Brock was nuts. Even like the stare down, like just not taking his eyes off Brock after, that was great. But no, it kind of did, because now that it's kind of like the interest, the question mark, the what factor is kind of
what's going to happen. And what's going to happen now is like, I mean, you've already eliminated half the roster.
So at this point now it's just, I don't want to say, oh, it's just back to the Rumble because it's still the Rumble, but I mean,
it's just back to the Royal Rumble.
Yeah, that's literally what it is. Shout out to Brock Lesnar. He lasted 26 minutes and 23 seconds and eliminated 13 people.
And
he tied Braun Strowman's record for most eliminations in a Rumble match.
And he sets the record for most eliminations in a 30-man Rumble match.
Yes, so good job, Brock. Thanks for actually doing something.
I mean, yeah.
But yeah, Drew follows up that earth-shattering elimination by knocking out Ricochet. Sad.
One single manly tear was shed.
We then see number 17, in comes The Miz.
Yay.
Immediately gets Claymore and eliminated.
Yay!
And Drew is still
staring daggers.
Lesnar as the crowd begins to sing, na 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 na, na 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 na.
Hey, 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 goodbye.
And Brock's just livid. Paul Heyman's distraught. It's a great sight. It's funny because as Brock's making his way now, actually leaving, him and Drew are mouthing off back and forth. And I think at one point Brock says, "I'm gonna see you later," and I hope so. But number 18, the phenomenal AJ Styles. I don't know if you guys can see that, but
we have our little AJ Styles shrine here.
So good to see AJ back in the Rumble,
and good to see some nice things on this really, really, really blank wall.
Yeah, it was time. Studio 6 needed an update.
Yeah, if you guys would like to donate any memorabilia, get it up in the studio.
So number 19, Dolph Ziggler. Yay.
Again, I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't care.
Number 20, Carl Anderson. So now we have two members of the OC in the match, and you can kind of see where this is building towards. And then is this the best part? Would you put this, is this the best part?
You think you know me.
The rated R
Superstar
Edge is back. Chills.
Yeah, this was crazy. Nothing was better than seeing Edge when he first steps out of the dugout and the look on his face is just pure adrenaline and really just taking in all of these raw emotions at once.
Yeah.
It was so amazing to see that. Welcome back, Edge.
Legitimately one of my favorite wrestlers ever. I've always been an Edge fan. His feuds with Undertaker back in on Friday Night SmackDown back in like 07, 08 was one of my favorite rivalries. Edge forever a legend. I am so happy to see you back. This was amazing. It was like a piece of my childhood coming back. This was great. And the only bad part about it was I was cringing the whole time.
Every time he took a bump.
Just like, oh God, please. Because, I mean, we don't know what happened to allow the clearing of Edge. So
much like D-Bry, where every time he takes a bump, you just go, oh, please still be alive.
The difference is between D-Bry and Edge is I don't think I'm ever going to get comfortable seeing Edge take a bump. I've kind of like settled on D-Bry now. Like, you know, he's been in the ring now for a year. He's been back for like a year now. So.
Yeah, I mean, and it's a little different, I guess, because D-Bry, more likely than not, would just be a concussion, whereas Edge would probably result in paralysis or death.
Well, because at least, like, you know, when D-Bry was talking about it, when he was trying to get back in the ring originally, he was like, yeah, if they would clear me, I could come back. So you knew it wasn't like he always had a chance. Edge was always like finite on it. He was like, nope, I can't. Like, can't come back. So to see this was like, you know, again, that high point coming back up, because this is kind of how the whole show was. This was one of the high points. And Edge gets in there and just, he hasn't lost a step, spears everybody. Unfortunately,
he injured AJ Styles. So, I'm going to come after you about as hard as I came after Bianca Belair. Maybe not as hard because you haven't been in the ring in 9 years, but yikers, that was avoidable.
Well, I mean, it would seem like that was more AJ than Edge.
It was the angle.
The same way if you watch it back, I mean, a lot of this stuff's just, it's you know, it happens. As JR always says, it ain't ballet. So, I mean, stuff like this happens. Yeah. It's unfortunate, but, you know, injuries happen. And that's just one of these things. And you could tell that some of the things that happened weren't supposed to happen, at least the way they were, because at number 22, King Corbin comes in, and then Edge immediately eliminates AJ Styles.
Yeah, so you see Corbin go over to the corner where AJ's seated in. He's being tended to by medics, and you can see AJ say, "I'm injured, I'm hurt," and Corbin backs away, goes somewhere else. Then AJ stands back up, goes over to Edge, and you see him, you know, pull him in for a hold so that he can communicate. And he tells Edge to eliminate him. And then when Edge eliminates him, Carl Anderson kind of looks to the floor like, that wasn't supposed to happen.
Yeah.
What do I do now?
Especially because you get 23...
Luke Gallows.
No. Bro.
Matt yes, that's correct.
Riddle comes in, although he gets immediately eliminated by Corbin. But he got a huge pop. But, yeah, two guys later, at number 24, Luke Gallows comes in. So you can see they were definitely building to do the whole club angle. But it just didn't happen, as AJ did get eliminated by Edge due to the injury. But we see Drew eliminate Baron Corbin, King Corbin, excuse me. And then number 25, Randall Keith Orton.
And Rated RKO is back. And nothing is better than Randy Orton looking at Edge and going, dang, you look good. Put on a little weight, but you look good.
And then they immediately team up to eliminate the OC. So all three members of the OC are now out of the Rumble.
All at the hands of Rated RKO.
Yeah. And then number 26. Butter.
Okay. So, nothing in the world is better than the CGI picture of Roman Reigns doing the ooh ah.
It was mass.
About 60 feet tall, standing above the Royal Rumble crowd.
Followed by the big dog that they have every week. God, it's so bad.
Look, some of your CGI things I'm learning to love. The Corbin flags thing, that's kind of cool. Yikes.
Yeah, this is bad.
I was terrified because of how demented it looked.
I was just scared because it was massive. It's the biggest one I think we've seen.
That was like seriously 65-foot tall CGI Roman Reigns stepping on the crowd.
It's like, do you remember the WrestleMania stage a couple years ago, the one at Disney in Orlando?
Yep.
Like the giant ring above the ring with the roller coaster and everything. It was like that. It's massive.
Probably taller.
Probably taller. It was. Yeah. I'm just looking at this thing like, I wonder how much that cost. Probably more than it should.
Not enough. It needs to cost more so they can stop doing it.
And then what also made me laugh too is that, we have been talking about the positive reactions that Roman's been getting lately.
And what did I say on Friday? Wait till we get to a pay-per-view.
Specifically, wait until we get to the Rumble because
wait till we get to Roman's pay-per-view?
Because I don't think we've ever seen Roman get cheered at a Rumble. This man...
And he was heartily booed.
He got roasted a lot. They even, I think, did they do the dimming of the crowd noise? Did they get to that point?
They did.
Oh, no. Feels bad, man. Because I've kind of grown on you, Roman. So, I mean, I don't think you deserve the hate, at least as much as you got. Because, I mean, you didn't really do much. So,
yeah.
He comes in, eliminates Dolph Ziggler. Thank you. And then number 27, Fight Owens Fight.
Stun Owens stun.
Here comes KO, and he goes ham. He just starts hitting people with stunners, pop-up power bombs. There's even one spot where Randy's like slithering up behind him. He's like biding his time. You're like, oh, he's gonna get caught with the RKO, and then Owens turns around. Nope, gotcha.
Stunner.
Thank you, Kevin Owens. Number 28, Aleister Black. And he had a pretty alright showing.
Yeah, again, that's a guy that gets in the Rumble and I go, you're not winning.
I mean, I would have believed it maybe a year or two ago when he was still like...
Last year.
Yeah, when he was still super... I mean, he's still super over, but when he was being used to do anything... But no, I had no confidence that he was going to win. He got, a cool spot.
Yeah, and I mean, not everyone is in the Rumble
to win. No, absolutely not.
But give me a bone, dude. Like, this is 28.
Yeah, I feel like Aleister should have been more towards the beginning in that Brock part of the Rumble.
Maybe here we get, like...
Or at least, like, one of the few spots after Brock got eliminated, you put Aleister in that.
Yeah, maybe here you get, like, I don't know, Shinsuke. That's not really believable.
No, I wouldn't buy that either. This would have been where you put, like, a Keith Lee or a Braun.
Ricochet.
Wouldn't buy that either.
I would buy that, but the problem is he was integral to Brock getting eliminated, that whole story. This is where I would have put Keith Lee, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I would have put a Keith Lee or a Braun. I believe one of them winning the Rumble. I see Braun finally getting his shot at Brock Lesnar. I see Keith Lee getting that push. I don't believe freaking Shinsuke or Ricochet are going to go on to win the Rumble. I just don't.
Now, the one thing that I actually was thinking we were going to get here that we didn't, I thought Kane was going to be 28. I mean, he's competed in 17 Rumbles already. Why not?
Why not? I mean, I'd
have rather seen that than what Aleister did.
I mean, I liked there was the spot where Drew goes for the Claymore and then
he gets caught with the fade to black. I know.
With the black mask, excuse you. And
that's what Corey Graves called it. Excuse Corey.
Well, no, that's the catchphrase for it. Fade to black. He always says that. It's not the call for the move. Excuse you. So, yeah, Black Mask took Drew's head off, and Drew sold it like a champ. He's just lights out in the corner. So, I like that spot a lot. But, yeah, Aleister, you just didn't do it for me. 29, Samoa Joe. And surprisingly... I didn't really pop for it either.
I do not care.
And the reason I don't care, it's not anything for the fault of Samoa Joe. It's just the storyline that he's in, because you knew at number 29, still one guy left. You know what the storyline, Kevin Owens is still in there. You know where they're going.
And you know that Seth Rollins has already announced he's going to be in the Rumble.
So you know exactly where they're going, and guess who comes in at... Actually, before I even say that, there was the spot of him and Kevin Owens look at each other just like... Eh. And then they just go at it, and they fight.
Joe takes Owens out, and then... Burn it down!
Seth Rollins comes out squatted up. Yes, the Monday Night Messiah has all his disciples coming down to the ring, and
it pays dividends.
Joe looks at Kevin and is like,
Wait. We can't fight anymore. We got to get him.
We got to get him. Take him out. So they immediately get out the ring and charge Seth Rollins and his disciples, and they just get beat down. That wasn't a very smart move. And then we see where the numbers game kind of comes in handy, because Rollins starts using his disciples to just pick people off one by one, takes out Aleister Black. We get one spot where Owens throws Seth to the outside of the ring, but the Authors of Pain catch him. And then that leads to Rollins eliminating KO. Then we see him eliminate Joe. And then there's a brawl on the outside of the ring.
Yes, Murphy, the AOP, are getting attacked by KO, Samoa Joe, and Aleister Black. They brawl up the ramp to Seth Rollins looking out from the corner going,
"Where y'all going?
What are you doing? I need you."
Yeah, he's just like, this is not what we talked about.
And then we get the spot.
Oh, I loved it so much.
Seth Rollins in the middle of the ring. One competitor in each of the four corners. Mm-hmm. And he is just staring, looking around, and the look on his face of sheer terror is beautiful. And then he looks over at Roman Reigns and he goes,
"Roman,
we can do this, you and me.
Help me, please.
For old time's sake."
You see Roman puts the fist. Superman punch.
All the callbacks to the Shield, twice in the night there were callbacks to the Shield, and I feel like I don't know, I felt like that's something WWE was going to try to like erase from everyone's memory.
No, regardless of how much crap Jon Moxley talks, I feel like WWE and Vince love him and the Dean Ambrose character. They love what the Shield did for those couple years. I just feel like that's just one, and even Jon Moxley himself, he hasn't burned the bridge yet from the company. So that's just
maybe the company, maybe his friends, not so much.
I just feel like that's just one thing where they may not appreciate what he's doing now, but they're like, I mean, it is what it is. Yeah. So I appreciate that they're not trying to Men in Black mind wipe everybody. So that's kind of
like
cool.
They did with Chris Benoit.
Yeah. That was a little bit different circumstances, ain't they?
Nah, same thing.
So we see Drew McIntyre eliminate Seth Rollins with the Claymore. And then he was just going ham, by the way. And then we see one of my favorite spots. We get, for old time's sake, a double RKO on Drew McIntyre from Edge and Randy Orton.
Edge has his back turned. He's looking at Roman Reigns. And Randy starts to slither in behind him. And Edge...
Go for it.
And Randy goes...
To try it.
I had to try. I'm sorry, man.
I mean, it's what I do. So then they're like... Edge is like, I get it. They're about to just, go double team. And then the ultimate opportunist.
Edge eliminates Randy Orton from the Royal Rumble. And we are down to 3. Edge, Roman Reigns, and Drew McIntyre.
we get a stare down between Edge and Roman. Battle of the Spears, who does it better? It's no contest. The rated
Roman.
R superstar. What?
Yeah, man, Roman.
So the rated R superstar, and I love this. We see Roman immediately goes for the spear, and then nope, eats one of his own from Edge. Crowd is just hotter than they've been all night.
Actually, I'm sorry. The best spear is the Big Show.
Mm-hmm. You mean
the falling
awkward,
shoulder
like,
tackle?
Shoulder tackle. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I'm so happy to see Edge back. But
They both wind up on the apron.
Yeah, it's not meant to be because Roman eliminates Edge.
Now we're down to the final two, and at this point, I'm like, well, there it is. Roman won. Roman just won the Rumble. Again.
I had faith. I actually had faith for once. Me, Mr. Pessimistic, Mr. Vince would never do that. But there's one thing that gave me faith. It's that he's the chosen one. Drew McIntyre is still that hand-picked guy. Vince McMahon said, you're going to be that guy when you come into my company. You're the one. And I went, it's going to be Drew. As soon as he took out Brock Lesnar, I said, it's going to be Drew. And sure enough, Corey's foreshadowing comes to fruition as Drew McIntyre hits the Claymore on Roman, picks him up, tosses him right out. Drew McIntyre wins the Rumble. And the crowd goes nuts.
I mean, I was excited. I think it's cool that Drew gets the opportunity.
Please don't say you're about to rain on this parade.
No, I'm just saying the only reason I was excited is because it wasn't Roman.
What is wrong with you?
I don't know what you're talking about.
This is one of the biggest moments. This is Drew McIntyre winning the Rumble, going on to probably face Brock Lesnar. I can't believe it.
I'm just saying, look, I'm not that invested in Drew McIntyre. I'm just not. If this would have been, I don't know, Keith Lee. Yeah, sure. Ricochet. Yeah.
Why are you invested in him? He's done less than Drew McIntyre. Ricochet? He's done less.
In WWE?
Okay, and then outside WWE, Drew McIntyre's done a lot too. We used to watch him in WCPW.
Yes, but not nearly as much as Ricochet.
That doesn't matter. This is WWE.
Ricochet is a better wrestler.
And in WWE, Drew McIntyre has done more than Ricochet, and I would much rather see him take on Brock Lesnar than Ricochet. What are they going to do with that match?
Well, but this is the thing. First of all, it doesn't have to be Brock Lesnar.
It's going to be Brock Lesnar.
Second of all, it doesn't have to be... The Royal Rumble winner doesn't have to win a championship match at WrestleMania.
Except that's literally what the stipulation is.
They don't have to win the championship match, is what I'm saying.
They don't have to win, but, regardless, I want to see Brock Lesnar versus Drew McIntyre. Or I want to see, at the very least, Drew McIntyre in the main event of WrestleMania. That's amazing for a guy that I've gone, I followed his career, and I go, this is going to be great. He ever gets a shot, he's for a guy that's never had an opportunity at a world championship.
I agree. I think it's good. I'm just, again, this whole pay-per-view, I didn't care.
I can be a Debbie Downer, and I can say the pay-per-view as a whole wasn't great, but to say this was amazing. I popped hard for this. Finally, Drew McIntyre getting his shot. If anyone deserves it, it's Drew McIntyre. And yeah,
but if it was somebody who was I don't know, super underdog babyface, I don't know, when Mysterio won it, oh my god, he finally gets his shot. This is a guy who literally 6 months ago was a heel.
Okay, and?
So what you're saying is I'm supposed to now...
It's been 6 months, Nick.
It's only been 3 months, to be honest with you, but what I'm saying is I'm supposed to complete 180 in 3 months and be like, oh my god, this is the guy I want so badly to win the Rumble. There's only one person that has turned face that quickly that I got behind, and it was Seth Rollins.
Daniel Bryan literally went from face to heel like that, and he was immediately over.
I'm not saying over. I'm saying it takes time for somebody to invest in a storyline. It takes time for me to invest in a storyline of somebody being an underdog. I don't invest in Drew McIntyre.
Drew McIntyre's storyline isn't necessarily the underdog. It's the fact that he had to fight to get where he is now. It's the fact that he was the chosen one, and then he ends up getting his way out of the company. He gets fired, has to crawl his way through the indie scene, work his way back up, build himself back up. He has a complete change in his persona, his attitude, the way he carries himself, even the way he looks. Gets back in WWE, goes to NXT first, climbs his way through NXT, and then gets on the main roster, has to fight through garbage storyline after garbage storyline, and finally, Drew McIntyre is getting his shot at WrestleMania. Sound familiar? Because minus the NXT part, that's Daniel Bryan. That's literally Daniel Bryan. The only difference is that he's not as small as him. That's literally the Daniel Bryan storyline.
Okay. I would agree to disagree on that.
Daniel Bryan was in WWE, got fired, came back, went through garbage storyline after garbage storyline, had to fight his way back up, and then gets his shot. That's literally the Daniel Bryan.
Yeah, the difference is he got his shot because the IWC literally would have rioted if he didn't.
But people have been fighting and clamoring for Drew McIntyre this whole time.
Oh my god. This is exhausting. This is genuinely exhausting. I was not invested in 90% of this entire pay-per-view.
Neither was I. I already said that.
Right, but for me to just say that I'm not that huge into Drew McIntyre and that to be blasphemy.
It is blasphemy. It is 100% blasphemy. And please comment and leave something, explain, because this is... It is 100% blasphemous. Drew McIntyre deserves everything
he's good in the ring. I agree.
I am so excited for him.
He's good in the ring. He is decent on the mic. I enjoy him. I don't care.
Well, the good thing is now you've got a couple months for hopefully him to change your mind.
Well, no. I think that the storyline that they're going to build for WrestleMania is going to be good, and by the time it comes to WrestleMania, I'm going to be all behind them, which is fine and dandy. And that's probably a good thing for a Rumble winner. But it just doesn't do for me the things that it does for you. You are acting like Eddie Guerrero winning the championship at WrestleMania. That is the level of excited you are about McIntyre winning the Rumble.
Because I can see McIntyre winning the championship at WrestleMania. I'm seeing the big picture. I'm hoping for something down the line. I'm optimistic. I want something good to happen. Should I not want good things in my WWE?
I'm not saying that you shouldn't want good things. All I'm saying is, it's ridiculous to be this excited about a guy winning the Rumble because he had a bad career path.
Why is that ridiculous? It's again the coming back from nothing, having that amazing storyline.
See, but this is the thing. He was given everything his first time in the company. He was handed everything. So I feel no remorse for the guy having to climb his way back.
But
he never worked the first time.
But that's not what your opinion has changed since WCPW to now, because that's not what you were saying about Drew McIntyre when he was in WCPW and on the indie scene. Your opinion has changed.
When he was on the indie scene, I thought it was cool because he was finally doing work.
Yes, but even you said you thought it was great that, he's working his way back up, and you thought it was kind of, it's good to see him. Hopefully he gets his shot back in WWE. So
I said hopefully he gets his shot because he's working his way back up.
But
what I'm saying is...
he got a shot.
Yes, but what I'm saying is you are putting it the storyline is he had to fight his way back. He only had to fight his way back because he pissed away his first opportunity.
Sometimes that happens. I like to see a good rebound. I like to see that. I want to see somebody, either get a...
Yes, but that's the thing. In a real-life combat sport, sure. This is something where this dude was booked to the moon. and screwed himself. Brett screwed Brett kind of thing. That's why I'm just not invested. I'm just not.
Well, it's at the end of the day, it's, again, you have time to hopefully change your mind.
I mean, like I said,
And
3 months from now, I'm going to be behind him. I'm going to be rooting for him as long as he's facing Brock because, not rooting against The Fiend.
I'm just, at the end of the day, I'm just kind of like, I'm mind blown. I, again, think it's blasphemous, so that's just where I stand. But I do see the little battery, little symbol on the camera dying, so we do got to kind of wrap this up.
Match of the night.
Match of the night, I would have to say, is the women's Royal Rumble. I'd have to say.
Men's Royal Rumble. MVP?
MVP, I'd have to say, was...
MVP?
No, I'd have to say it was Edge. Welcome back.
My MVP would be Brock Lesnar. I mean...
Bork Laser.
Yeah. And the cute little fight mode award, whatever, I'm going to give it to Brock, too. I mean, just coming out the way he did. So, for those of you who didn't catch it, we're on Podbean now. We're doing the podcast on the Spotifys and the iTunes and such.
Yep. We always have, as always, have our social media links in the description down below.
So you can go tell Marcus he's wrong about the Women's Rumble.
Oh, but you won't. And make sure, again, to subscribe, hit the little notification bell, also to follow us on all of our social medias. And without further ado,
from Studio 6 in Sterling Heights, my name's Nick Cavalli.
my name is Marques and Nick.
And we welcome you to join the revolution. Have a good night.
Have a good night.